back to Redemption with Jaden. We're back this week with a little bit of a different kind of video, not one that I do super often, but after Nationals we got lots of goodies to look at, including a Times to Come alternate border box, which I will be opening in today's video. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some of the other goodies from Nationals. If you missed it last week, I did my Nationals 2026 recap, talking about the decks that I played, the different events, both official and unofficial, and all the fun things that happened last, I guess a couple weekends ago now at Nationals. So that was a blast, but I also, throughout that, got some nice goodies that week or that weekend. So we'll go ahead and start out with the first one, which was the name tags here. John Hendricks put together these custom name tags for everyone who pre-registered by June 1st, and we got quite a few people who did that. And so it had your name and then the categories that you were playing, even your Discord username there, if you can see it. And John surprised everybody with a regular version, I guess, but in addition to that, also a foil version. That was the surprise, I guess, that I knew about it, but everybody else, it was a surprise for. So they had the Nationals logo and a QR code for the Google Photos album that people could add pictures to. So if you haven't added your pictures to it, you can go ahead and scan the QR code here and add your pictures. Or you can just go check it out. Very cool album. Good to see everybody and all the pictures that were added. So we got those when you registered or checked in. And then at the end of each category that you participated in, you got a Ruth the Retainer promo. I was able to get one of these after playing Type 2 on Thursday, which meant that I had one that I could use in my Type 1 deck on Friday, which was a lot of fun. Also on Thursday, we did the Paragon side event, and Kurt put together these intro packs for everybody, which include the full Lost Soul deck. So you got 21 Lost Souls, which these look awesome. Like the full art with the kind of like classic Lost Soul art from all of these. Like these turned out really great. So kudos to Kurt for putting these together and making them for everybody so that you can use them if you want to play Paragon yourselves. And then also he printed off 14 of these different Paragons that you can use to have the cards for, and it'd be really cool to have the rest of these. I don't know if Kurt intends to do that at some point, like have these available for you to be able to purchase. I considered playing Hannah as my Paragon. That was one of the two decks that I built. Ended up going with Zadok instead, which you can see my deck in last week's video if you are so inclined and want to check that out. Also on Thursday, I guess, I got two of these. I got second in Type 2 2-player, so we'll go ahead and fast forward to Saturday when I got first in teams and was able to get all three of these winter promos. We got the Nativity, Son of God. It's having a hard time focusing, I think, with the sleeve on there, but yeah, it was very cool to get these. Like the art is very nice, and then the foil especially, I really think turned out well on this one. And the Forsaken and Warrior Overtaken also both very cool. Yeah, excited to be able to use these. And well, or I guess, I don't know, these ones might be the ones for my binder, but I did get other copies of them in placing in other categories. So, and then also we have the Worker promo, which was not spoiled before Nationals. It was not really talked about or anything. And they want to avoid people, kind of trying to earn them without really, being a part of the team that makes Nationals happen. A lot of people help out in different ways and are doing so, to help make sure that the tournament runs smoothly. But they try not to advertise it too much, because then you have people who are kind of they sweep up an area or take out the trash at the end of the event, and then are hoping for a Worker promo in return for that. So it's kind of just led to kind of unhealthy dynamics in the past. And so really it's up to the host discretion to determine who's genuinely putting in their efforts and knowing that they're making the tournament run smoothly. As part of the hosting team, of course, I I did receive one of these. So that was very cool. I was pretty excited for this card being one of the promos because I really like philosophy. So that was pretty fun. Then we also have the alternate border ultra rares, which were given to winners of categories as well. If you got first place, you got all three of the ultra rares, and then second and third place got to pick out of a set of them. So second place got to pick one, third place got to pick one, and then second place got the one that was left. And yeah, these also turned out very cool. So I'm glad to at least, or definitely have a full set of them here. And then I opened a box on Friday with Joe Roberts during the lunch break. Yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to hit go live on the Friday live stream until we were 3 rounds in, and Josh Potratz came up to me and was like, "Hey, my wife was wondering why the stream isn't running, like it's running on Tim's, but on yours." And I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?" So went over there, checked it, turned it on, and got that going. But it was a little late, so to make it up to everybody, we did a box opening during the lunch period there that we had. We had some time, so Joe Roberts and I opened a box there that we kind of went in on it together. So that was a lot of fun. And now, speaking of opening boxes, let's go ahead and crack this one open after we clean up our space a little bit here. All right, box opening ASMR section. Oh yeah, that was the sound of it definitely going in the trash can. All right, these are in the Revelation of John packaging, so it looks like Rob was making use of some of the old packaging here. No new packaging for the alternate border times to come, but that's all right. Since we know what the times to come cards do, we're mostly just going to be looking at them, and then I will actually be going through the Roots 2 cards because we don't all know what they do necessarily, because those ones are actually new abilities and everything. So we got a Perfidy as the first rare. I'm a big fan of this card. I think I don't know that it's like amazing, or it's not, very widely played, but I do like it quite a bit. King's Henchman, allowed to be trampled. This one is a good one to have multiple copies of as a common. I like that. And Return to Curse. I mean, it's not as important now that Type 2 is no longer what it used to be, but still, yeah, having multiples, it's one of the more useful commons, or more used commons. So we got Unbowed. Negate an evil or neutral card if it's an artifact or a king. Underdeck it, repeat up to 2 times. So the fact that, you just get 3 negates no matter what. And then if it's an artifact or king, you get to underdeck it. That seems pretty cool. It's a good answer to A-Bomb and other good answer to evil enhancements, but then you don't have to underdeck them because you don't want to give them their enhancements back. But if it's a king, which you've got King of Tyrus, you've got plenty of other kings that the Daniel offense doesn't like. So I don't know, it seems pretty good. Fortify Sight, negate a card. You may exchange a character with a character from its owner's deck or reserve. Huh. Okay, so you can exchange your own character with one of your own, or you can exchange your opponent's character with one of a character from their deck or reserve. That's a fun and unique ability. You really want to know what your opponent has in their deck and reserve to be able to exchange to, but a lot of times, if people are splashing, they'll just have a generally weaker character available in either their deck or reserve, so that can be cool. Or you can block with King of Tyrus. Once they try to discard him with with something, maybe they use Unbowed to negate and underdeck him. Then you can use Fortify Sight to negate that, exchange your King of Tyrus with your Wound of Thebes in deck, and then go ahead and give her to your opponent. So you make them use their battle winner, and then also get to exchange them. Although I guess No, yeah, as long as you negate unbowed, then yeah, they won't get to repeat it on your one with the best. We got a primary objective. I know there's some people that are pretty excited about this one. I think it's kind of fun. Uh, each player may discard their hand. If you do, an opponent does not banish this card to rescue a lost soul. So I think my favorite use case that I'm looking forward to in this one is in like a teams game, or in, actually I guess I don't know how it'll work in the new teams, because opponent I think will be both players. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know who would have to discard their hand in order to make this work. But maybe in like Paragon or something, where your two of your opponents are in battle, one of them plays this, and then I just decide to discard my hand because I can. Elders of the City, you may take a good Ruth card, except a dominant from discard pile or reserve. Cannot be prevented. Definitely a big upgrade to this card. Uh, Both getting the CBP and then adding the reserve, although it doesn't let you take a dominant though. So I mean, the old version from the starter decks, you can take dominants from your discard pile. There aren't any Ruth dominants currently, but if they ever print one, that's kind of why they're being prepared for that. Don't want to have another Cloud of Witnesses Daniel sort of situation. And I mean, like, there could there be a Son of God card in Ruth? Sort of. I don't know. They're talking about the lineage or something. I don't know if there's actually any direct prophecy about Jesus in there though. But anyway, there could be something, I'm sure. The other thing with primary objective that's kind of fun is playing it after a prosperity, and you like put your hand back on top of your deck, so you don't actually have to discard anything, or at least you put the cards that you don't want to discard back on top. That's kind of cool. Gibeonite Curse, bounce up 2 characters on the enhancement side. If opponent controls a Canaanite you own, discard a card from a deck. So if they go first, you block with one with the Bez, give it to them, get the block there. And then on your turn, you activate Gibeonite Curse, discard their Son of God. Seems pretty good. Pretty good. And the bounce up to 2 characters is also just kind of fun, because you get you can reset your Canaanites too. So you bounce their hero in battle and then reset one of your Canaanites in their territory. You got a Bound Before the Fire. Open 2 of these in the first box, the box I opened with Joe. So definitely have plenty of these, which is good. I like having multiples of rares like that are actually ones that I'd want to use 2 of in a Type 2 deck, I guess. Judah, hand it over, capture a hero or X heroes. You guys know what that does. Oh, and then none to rescue. Are we gonna get the black one as well? That'd be kind of fun. Get another Return to Curse. First duplicate common out of this box. And we got a 7 Years of Plenty. It's a slight upgrade from the first one. Although, well, let's see. Did the first one let you play a Genesis or Exodus Fortress? No, I think it was just Genesis. But you can now do it from deck or reserve, and then obviously it's in pale green instead of gold. The Golden Lampstand. I like this one. I'm excited about this one. I think a CBN, restrict evil dominance, and negate toss abilities. So like one of the problems with Ark of the Covenant is you restrict evil dominance, but then your opponent can play their 3 woes as good to negate that. So now Golden Lampstand, they're not going to be able to play their good 3 woes to negate it, and you can restrict evil dominance, and then also negating toss abilities really shut down like a Herod deck or something like that. Herod's Temple. Sarah the Adorned. If you control a patriarch, opponent must underdeck an evil card in territory. Maybe and Abraham. I'm a little curious to see how like the wives that got reprints from Genesis, like the patriarch wives, like they all band to their respective husbands, and that's cool, like thematic and everything, but it just with Genesis you want to have like a big banding chain going, and it's kind of hard to get all of them in there along with the other characters that you want, which is fine. Like I wouldn't expect it to be like just a general like may band to a patriarch, but I just trying to figure out if they have a spot in the Genesis offense, or like which of them actually get used if you want to have that banding chain going, and which of them do you actually try to fit in there, because it's hard to get all of them with everything else that you want. All right, Syrian Archer, and then I guess part of it is also like just characters don't band to the Genesis or like the patriarch wives as easily. There's Melchizedek, who can ban a Genesis human, but most of the other dudes either ban to like a son of Jacob or a patriarch or something like that. So you have to kind of start the banning chain with them. There's the cloud of witnesses Isaac, who bans to Rebecca. So technically you can get all of them in, like Sarah, Abraham, Melchizedek, Rachel, or no, is it or Leah, Jacob, Angel, that or three visitors that exchanges to Isaac, and then Isaac to Rebecca. So you can get all of the new ones in there. Like there's the Rachel from Roots 1. It would be tough to get her in there as well because she also just bans to Jacob. So yeah, it's not quite all the way there, but I mean he only there was some tension between Leah and Rachel anyway. So having them both in battle, it could get sticky. I don't know. All right, Syrian Archer. If this card is discarded, you may discard a hero in a territory, may ban to an OT human warrior. So kind of a similar to the old school Syrian Archer, except instead of being able to discard, whenever you want and then discard it after battle if you do, it's just if it's discarded, then you get to discard the hero. So it's a triggered ability. And we got Lies, kind of a throwback to the old school version, which was just letting you choose a hero to attack, except this one now you can play it in special initiative or negate their Herod's Temple or their Wall of Protection or something, negate their good card, and then choose a hero. All right, Idol of Nebuchadnezzar. Definitely wanted one of these, so that is very cool. I'm a big fan of this card. I don't play Babylonians a whole lot, but I think that this card is very strong, and in some ways it makes me want to splash Babylonians into a lot of decks that they probably don't have any business being splashed into. But just the trigger an opponent playing a card with negated makes me want to, or being able to capture a hero seems pretty good. Yeah. Head of Gold, Depraved, the Crimson one, and Cherubim. We got the Artist Unknown version. Alright, Demons in Chains. You may draw one after battle. You may underdeck this card to underdeck a good card. It cannot be negated. So this doesn't let you do it like to win a battle. I guess like if he's still in battle, then your opponent's not winning a battle anyway. So yeah, basically he still has to be there in battle resolution in order to underdeck himself. And so basically, if you win the battle, then you'll probably get the trigger. So that's kind of nice, and it cannot be negated. And then it underdecks itself, so you can just put it back into play with Gates of Hell. Kind of fun. Nothing super special, but. And then we got He-Man the Singer. You may draw X, limit 3, which is a number of your OT white musicians, and good enhancements that involve music or regardless of protect abilities. Kind of fun, different than the original version, which just let you play enhancements involving music regardless of brigade. I think that would have been kind of cool too, but do we get that on one of the other musicians? I don't think so. I think that would have been cool. Like, just give him a draw ability and then be able to let him play enhancements that involve music regardless of brigade. I think that would be that would have been maybe more fun, but regardless of protect abilities is important to have these days. Lots of protection going around. Filling the temple, discard all evil cards in battle. You may take a temple artifact or an OT temple from deck or reserve. So that one's kind of similar to the old school one. You got to take an artifact or a temple and to discard all evil cards in battle. This one is just discard first. If that goes through special initiative and everything, then you get to take the card you want. I guess another thing with He-Man that's notable is that if you give him the draw ability, then he's more likely to want to get blocked by foreign wives. So that's where the regardless protectabilities is kind of nice there too. Eli the Judge. Oh yeah, more judges. Let's go. If opponent has evil card advantage, you may discard an evil card. You may take a 1 Samuel card from deck. I'm excited to try this one out and try to see how I can manipulate my opponent's evil cards, like the evil card advantage, I guess, between myself and my opponent to get the discard here, and then take a 1 Samuel card from deck. Like, that's very broad. So you can take evil cards, you can take good cards. We'll see what, Eli's Sound Advice seems to be like a very easy target for that, but also Warrior Overtaken is a 1 Samuel card, right? Yeah, so you could use Eli the Judge to take Warrior Overtaken from your deck and I don't know, just seems pretty good, and it kind of makes sense given Eli's role and like his influence with his sons. And oh man, I'm gonna there we go. I've got the not as good camera over on my face because that doesn't matter quite as much. Um, so yeah, I mean Eli with his sons doing evil stuff, it kind of makes sense that he sets the pace for the book of First Samuel. So we got Pharaoh Hafra. This one is an interesting one. If you control another Egyptian, you may give this evil card to a territory to protect lost souls from rescue. So you have to control another Egyptian, but otherwise it's basically a woman of Thebes, which is pretty good. One upside is that he's warrior class, so you can put a weapon on him and be able to activate that from your opponent's territory too, which is kind of cool. Then also you don't get the benefit of taking an OT black card from your reserve, or taking probably an OT pale green card would be in this case, but he's a simpler card, and he also says give this evil card, so his ability doesn't work when he's converted. Still very good though. I think will go in almost all Egyptian decks. Abomination of Desolation, another good rare to see here. I like that. Got an Idolater's Lost Soul. I think the Lost Souls are nice to see because, I mean, they're maybe a little less common. I mean, just like a little bit harder to get, I think, just because they're more broadly usable in multiple different types of decks. Belshazzar's 1000. Like to see that. And Behold the Lord. Ooh, that looks pretty sweet. Like the lightning going on in the background there. That's awesome. Yeah, these cards look great. Very well done. All right, Wonders Forgotten. Speaking of well done, this one says well done to the battle. Discards the top 2 cards of a deck. You get to do it again and then end the battle if used by an Egyptian. So very cool to see this effect given to Egyptians. I feel like this is kind of the sort of thing that they needed to make like the mill strategy more viable, is like just putting incremental mill on top of already good abilities. So a 0/6 end the battle. It doesn't end the battle in a stalemate, so you still have to have the right math, but it's still very good. Jehoram the Priest, so it's kind of like the old school one, which is 0/4. So that was, this one is a straight upgrade, other than the fact that it's cannot be negated, so it can be prevented. And Jehoram the Priest, a Solomon's Temple Priest, you may take an O2 clay enhancement from deck or reserve, and it may ban to a Temple Priest. I'm excited to see what the Temple or the Solomon's Temple Priest can do. We got a few new ones. Hey, speaking of which, there's another one. Azariah the High Priest, protect lost souls from evil cards. You may draw 2 or activate a temple artifact from deck. I think the fact that a lot of them banned and do something else is really cool. I'm kind of excited for some of the synergy they have with musicians, especially because the new Solomon's Temple involves music, and then all the temple priests are in clay, so you get clay white already with Music Leader. Isaac the Blessed, negate an evil card once per turn. If this card is harmed, you may discard an evil card in territory instead. It's all right. I think negating an evil card before they block is nice. Turn off one of their evil characters or their evil fortress, and then I think what I don't like as much is that the fact that if he's harmed, a lot of times that could be either off of an interrupt the battle or a negate and discard, and so you wouldn't get the trigger anyway in that case. But still pretty good. Good draft card for sure. Jacob's Rods. Interrupt the battle, you may draw 1 or 3 if used by a Patriarch and play an OT enhancement. Kind of the basic template for an interrupt draw 3 that we see, or draw 3 in play that we've seen recently. And Destruction from Persia is our rare for this one. This was like one of the last cards I actually was able to get from the set. Like I think I opened one, but then I traded it to Josh Knitt for his cube, and then it took me a while to get one again. But I think I used it in his cube to reserve all of Justin's heroes in a multiplayer game, so that was kind of fun. We got a Return to Fight, Order to Kill, and Eternal Believers. I like the colors on Eternal Believers here. It's just kind of Nice gradient in the background there. And we got a Foreign Sword reprint. It's pretty cool now in purple and only purple, so no black along with that, which I don't know, like it's still like in reference to the Philistine and Canaanite, I don't know, theme, right? I think it's talking about Ittai the Gittite, who was a Philistine by heritage. I don't know. Ittai is a purple hero in Roots 2 here, so. But anyway, it's fairly similar to the original one. It says negate an opponent's evil or neutral card. If it is not a character, you may top deck it. So you can get rid of their fortress or their artifact and slow them down a little bit, which is cool. That was always very good in the original one, which could top deck characters if it was used by a Canaanite or Philistine. You got Rage, part of the discard all evil cards, cannot be prevented cycle. The Stars, this one seems pretty good. It's a Judge's Hero, involves music, a 12/12 angel, or warrior class angel. Select up to 2, prevent the next evil card played in battle, discard an evil fortress, ban to an OT angel. So I think most often you're going to be preventing the next evil card and then banning to an angel, but occasionally you'll want to discard an evil fortress, and maybe you'll want to have someone to ban to, so it'll just work out that way. Widow of a Prophet, the Widow reprint. You may draw 2, paralyze all evil creatures of strength 8 or greater in territories this turn. So very similar to the old school Widow, except instead of ignoring, now it's paralyze and get a little draw 2 on there and in green. So it works. Hey, so we can give Ittai. There he is, 2/4 purple warrior class hero. Philistine. You may draw 2. If defeated by an opponent, you may add an OT purple warrior to battle. Kind of reminiscent of the Chosen Warriors, which is cool. We got our ultra rare. Another Michael the Guardian. Very nice. I think Michael is the one that Joe and I opened up on the stream as well. So that's 2 for 2 on Michael's, I guess. Fortunately, I got the rest of them already from category prizes. But we'll go ahead and put Michael up here. Got the Brown Depraved, God's Judgment, and Impending Battle. I should set aside my duplicate commons. Make like a new stack to keep track of how many duplicate commons we get in the box. So we'll just go ahead and make another row there. Of course, we'll see if I actually am able to keep track of them by the end of the box here. We're about a quarter of the way through. Belshazzar's Banquet. Very good upgrade on this card. It's discard or protect, but it's CBP if used by Babylonians. So basically just a straight upgrade. Added a few numbers to it too, so now you can toss it even. Emperor Tiberius, you may look at a hand. Underdeck a dominant cannot be prevented. Strict upgrade for Tiberius, just giving him the cannot be prevented modifier. Everything else is pretty much the same, I guess, except the numbers. He's a 12/7 now instead of a 10/11, I believe. Babylonian Forces, if blocking another Babylonian is in play, you may negate and discard a card in any territory except a character. So basically the version of Syrian Siege Army or Greek forces, been part of that cycle, so to speak. Othniel, First Judge, you may capture an evil human from a reserve to a player. If defeated, you may take a character from a territory. This was the 2024 Booster Draft winner, designed by Jacob Arrowood. And very cool that now 2 years later the card is finally coming out, and it's in the kind of Judges and Joshua theme. There's a little bit of overlap here because the reference is Joshua, but he is a judge and also a wilderness hero. So I'd be curious to see what decks he makes it into. Probably in the reserve of some decks, like where Joshua can take him out in the ban to him and then capture your opponent's foreign wives or something like that from their reserve. I'm gonna move myself up a little bit here. So that'll be cool. Also a 1/1 Joshua hero. Good initiative there. And Meditation, you may draw X, limit 3 if used by Joshua hero. Repeat 1 time, and this card cannot be negated. X is the number of good enhancements in your discard pile. So it's just a 1/1 big draw card. If you play it on Othniel, you can probably maintain initiative, and you get a CBN draw up to 6, which that seems pretty good. I'm a fan. All right, got Babylon. I feel like we're getting a lot of Babylonian rares. Battle Before the Fire, Idol of Nebuchadnezzar, now Babylon. Really cool. Just the blue bricks on that. Uh, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. A Stubborn Lost Soul. I like the stars in the background. It's cool. Covenant of Time, having a fairly similar border there. And another Impending Battle. Hey, look, duplicate commons. Still have to figure out if that card is, like, if there's a spot for that card in anything. Because, like, as long as your opponent can add your heroes to battle, it's not that great. Plunderers, here's another solid Egyptian card for the mill deck. And to get a good card, you may discard the top 2 cards of a deck or draw 2. So just a nice little negate, but then some upside there. And flexibility, if your opponent's deck is protected, you can just band your own, or draw your own. A new creation, convert all evil humans in battle, discard all evil cards in battle. Very cool. Gets CBN by Scroll of Isaiah, which is kind of fun, and also tosses for 7. Gideon's 300, you may bounce a human or 2 if a good judge is in play. You may take an OT gold card from reserve. I think that this is kind of fun, like, just bouncing like your Canaanites, or and getting to do up to 2. Maybe you bounce your own Gideon or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the lines of play here are with this, with Gideon's 300, but I think it makes sense, like bouncing your other humans because it was just the 300 that were needed for the battle, or something like that. I think is kind of the theme. Like the previous one just set aside all heroes in your territory and like protected them from harm or something like that. And so it was kind of like, oh, you guys step aside, we're going to fight this battle, sort of a thing. And then you get to take an OT gold card from reserve. That's very broad. Also lets you take evil gold cards, in case there are any OT evil gold cards that are going to see any use in anytime soon. Rebecca the Kind, if you control a patriarch, opponent must underdeck an evil card from hand, maybe to Isaac. This is the one that I feel like I think this is the one that probably gets used the most out of the patriarch wives and roots. I think the hand pressure aspect is kind of, I think, what Genesis wants to lean into a little bit. And, that's what we've seen with the Sons of Jacob. You got first sacrifice and out of their hands, stuff like that. And so I think just adding to that pressure with Rebecca will be cool. Unfortunately, she bans to Isaac, who I feel like is kind of the least consequential of the, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But that's how it goes. Blessings, straight up reprint for this in blue now. Negate characters and other enhancements. Very cool to see that card come back. It's another one that you can use off of Faith of Abraham to bounce itself. So that's kind of fun. A Measured Mean is our rare from this pack. Lord Calls, another Babylonian card. Just throwing that out there. Oh, our first triple common here. Another Return to Curse. Keeps on returning to me, I guess. And the Babylonian Officials. It's a cool looking border on that one. I like that. I mean, they're all pretty cool, but yeah, I can't quite tell like what the pattern is there, but it's nice. All right, Water Shaft. We got an alignment shift on this reprint. It used to be a gray enhancement. This one, to banish an evil card, you may activate an OT artifact from reserve or artifact pile. I like both of these abilities. I mean, I think the banish an evil card is nice. You can banish something in their territory and then activate stocks from your reserve or something like that to take care of the character in battle. Or if they have 2 characters in battle, you can banish one and then use stocks on the other or something like that. I'm sure there are other fun OT artifacts that people will come up with to use with that. The Providing Angel, territory class 6/5 Angel. Once per turn, you may heal a hero. If attacking, you may play a good OT profit from deck or reserve. So kind of a reprint of the old school one, which just let you take a healing enhancement from, I think, deck or discard pile. So now you just get a territory class heal ability, and then you can also go get a hero for your troubles if you attack with Providing Angel. Jude, if blocked by a Crimson character, you may play a New Testament enhancement. If alone, you may choose a New Testament human to block. I think this is really cool. I think the thematic part is nice. Like blocked by a crimson character, oh, like that's not really going to be worth playing because who knows if your opponent's going to be on crimson. But I mean, the choose a blocker ability is still strong. We've seen characters in roots that just have the choose a blocker ability, like Jail and Titus. I guess Titus do one other thing too. I don't remember. They can protects something, or I don't know. But anyway, now Jude has the choose ability, but then also kind of the thematic if blocked by a crimson character, which heretics are kind of the New Testament crimson theme, but could also trigger off of Babylonians. Like that's why it's thematically for heretics, but also works with Babylonians or animals, or Edomites. So yeah, very cool. Edgar the Wise, you guys know what this one does. We've talked about it here before, and we talked about it on the podcast. But yeah, kind of a fun little card. Reveal the player's hand, select up to one good card, they may give it to you to draw 3. Cannot be negated. Curse ensuing another, interrupt the battle, reserve up to 2 heroes. Sad that it's not interrupt the battle and begin a side battle, but that's all right. Pride laid low. Still got to build a deck around this card. I think it's fun, and I mean it's particularly good for like drafting and that kind of stuff. But I think there are some fun constructed ways to use it. Last Days. I don't think that's a duplicate. Yeah, Heavenly Watcher. That's our first one of that. Ooh, yeah, look at that kind of sky background. Sweet. And the Overseer. Nice to have one of these. It's a nice gradient on that one too. It's kind of got like the blue of his shirt and then like the crimson of that's pretty. Let's see if we can focus on. There we go. Yeah. All right, Wolves Among Sheep. Speaking of heretics, we got a Wolves in Sheep's Clothing reprint, but now Wolves Among Sheep is the I suppose probably shorter version of it that fits on the card a little better. Play a heretic from deck or reserve, place in territory, you may discard this card to add a heretic to battle. So instead of insteading the discard on your heretics or healing them or whatever the old one did exactly, now it's just an add to battle, and also lets you tutor one up, which is nice. Shimi's Malicious Curse, got a reprint of this one. To get it under deck, a good card if it is a king, musician, warrior, or prophet, repeat it 2 times. So it's kind of similar to like the first one, Unbowed. Is that the one that we opened? So the negate and then repeat with an underdeck ability, except this one's just a little bit different, where you get the negate and underdeck no matter what, but then the repeat only comes if it's a king, musician, warrior, or prophet, which those are all over the place. So that seems pretty easy to get the trigger on. And Ananias the Liar, you may draw 1, maybe into an evil entity female, cannot be interrupted. So kind of the reprint we were all waiting for, Ananias banning to Sapphira, but you also get to draw 1, which is kind of cool. But it is only cannot be interrupted, so he can be prevented. Blessing of Joshua, negate characters and other enhancements, similar to Blessings, Genesis one that we got. Ooh, Tekoa Woman. I'm excited for this one. You may exchange a card from a player's hand with a card of matching alignment from that player's reserve. So it doesn't like net you any cards if you want to use it on yourself, but it gets you whatever you want out of your reserve, and just matching alignment. So it can be good, evil, or neutral, as long as you have a card in your reserve that matches that alignment. But then just the fact that you can do this to your opponent and mess up, their hand, whatever, like maybe they've got a Deceiver and they've got a Foreign Wives in their reserve. You can go with Tekoan Woman and exchange their Deceiver, their Foreign Wives, just to kind of chuckle at them a little bit and be like, actually, no, I haven't drawn 5 cards this turn, so they don't get the protection. Like you can just, I like the hand manipulation stuff, so that's exciting to me. Ooh, Perplexing Vision. Glad we got one of these. I believe I got one of these in the other box as well, but yeah, very nice one to have duplicates of for sure. Very pretty looking and just one of the strongest rares and most commonly played rares in the set. I think that and A-Bomb are probably pretty close, and maybe Daniel. 4 in the Fire, interrupt the battle. You guys know what that does, but it looks cool. I'm not going to read all these out. Seraph. I like the background on that one. You can get like the angel wings, I think. And Besieged by Babylon. I like this one as well. Fun card for sure. All right. Seth the Appointed. You may draw one while you control another good antediluvian to get enhancements on other characters. Just a little draw one, 5 the numbers character, but you'd have to have another antediluvian, or good antediluvian. Rhoda, Servant Girl. You may look at a hand. You may exchange this card with an axe hero from deck or reserve. This one, I think, is a cool reprint. You get some, thematic elements of the previous one, which I think just let you look at the top card of a deck, and then you could withdraw Rhoda, 2/2 green hero, which also a promo. So you can see that we've shifted power scale a little bit on some of these cards. So now you can look at a hand, and then you just get to exchange with a hero from deck or reserve. It'd be kind of cool to see what people come up with for like an axe theme. King Amaziah, if defeated, you may capture this card to a player instead. You might choose an evil king to block. So you still got the choose the blocker ability, choosing evil kings specifically, which there are a good number of those, especially in Old Testament defenses. But then also like emperors and Herods, they count as well. And then if defeated, you can capture to a player. I think that's kind of fun. It seems good for like draft and that kind of thing. Obviously, you don't want him to be defeated, but maybe if you're, if you ban to him and then they defeat him, then you can capture him and still have another hero left. I don't know. Pasher the Persecutor, you may reveal an OT Gray card from hand to capture a hero. Its owner may discard a card from hand instead. So very similar to Entrapping Pharisees, but kind of the Old Testament version. He's a priest, so it works well with Glory of the Lord. If their hand's protected, then Pasher the Priest plus Glory of the Lord seems even better. He doesn't have any modifiers though, so they will be able to negate him in Special Initiative. Behold the Lamb, and get an evil or neutral card if used by a New Testament prophet. Banish that card. Yeah, pretty cool. I think I'm excited to see New Testament prophets get a little bit of love and see if there's some something there as far as the theme goes. Like, are they going to be more playable now? I'm sure they'll still need some Old Testament stuff like kind of sprinkled in, but a lot of the Old Testament stuff works well with with any prophet, regardless of testament. So the Restored Land, one of the prettiest cards in the set because it is the full art version, which is very cool. Lions in the Den, Surveying Spirit, and there's a Head of Gold. We got another one of those. Okay. Gad the Seer. Select up to 2, look at a hand, draw 2, take an OT green card from reserve. So it's another select, kind of similar to the stars here. You can get multiple options. I would say, like turn 1, you're going to want to look at their hand and draw 2. And then later on, maybe you want to look at their hand and grab something from reserve, or maybe you already know it's in their hand, or maybe their hand's protected. You just get to draw 2 and take an OT green card from reserve. So that's, on a 2/1 hero, you're getting a +3, so it's kind of like Deborah, I guess. Maybe a little less flexibility, but the option to look at their hand is pretty cool. Wash Basin, reveal the bottom 2 cards of a deck, discard the evil cards, top deck, or underdeck the rest. I'm a fan of this ability. I'm not sure if it will really be usable for, just because artifact slots are hard to justify if they're not getting you a direct benefit immediately, but I think in some decks this could be good. And then also it sets up like the old combo, I guess, of like, oh, you see the Son of God's on the bottom of their deck, okay, I'm gonna put it on top and then I'm gonna attack with a mill hero or something like that, like or play my Gods of Egypt or something. So maybe in a mill deck it could be could have a spot. King's Sword, this is the one that I think a lot of people are excited about, and maybe worried about as well. If an evil character is blocking, you may add up to 3 angels to battle. This card is just crazy good. Like, there has to be an evil character in battle, so you can't do it before they block, which is nice, but, it's basically Resurrection, except, everybody plays angels to some degree for the most part. So you can add your opponent's angels, you can add your own angels, and angels are just, a lot of them exchange for heroes. They're supporting their other themes, so you can just go and get whichever hero you want, basically. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of potential with this card. Can also do the whole Noah shuffle thing with it. I'm sure there are some nice repeatable combos with that. Musician's Chambers, if put in play, you may take a white musician from deck, protect good musicians and territory from harm. I like the musician theme getting some love, and the female only. classic protection from rescue except by a female. The old one said, or the Son of God card, but this one doesn't have to because Son of God will negate it unless you're playing Classic. In which case, if someone decides to play the Classic Son of God, then you can protect the Lost Soul from rescue from them. It's kind of funny. Kingdom of the Divine. Kind of cool looking reprint there. Nice gold background. Ooh, we got another Idolater's Lost Soul. Not necessarily mad about that. Another God's Judgment, and another None to Rescue. Lots of duplicate commons there. King Solomon, you may look at a hand of a Temple Priest, or you can play a good OT Fortress from deck. So another little bit of overlap in the Musicians and Solomon's Temple Priests strategy here, except this one's in purple, so you can have to figure out, okay, where's the balance between clay, white, and purple that you're going to want to use. Table of Demons, negate humans, take an Evil Fortress from deck, or reserve if an idol is active. So a little bit more flexible, I think, than the older one, but also only in orange, not in crimson. And Jackals, you may look at a hand. If this card is discarded, opponent may or must discard a card in territory. So, just kind of cannot be prevented, which is kind of nice. A little 2-1, look at the opponent's hand, get some hand information. That's not bad for sure. Covenant Breakers, you may discard a Covenant. If 2 or more heroes are in battle, you may activate an OT Curse. Another Wilderness character, so that's kind of cool. Generic also, so a lot of the dudes that ban a generic Wilderness characters, you can to get advantage of that. Ooh, Ahithophel, the Advisor. I'm excited about this card. I think this card is great. You may draw X, limit 3, which is the number of Meatclaw Souls in your territory, which, I'm not saying that Meatclaw Souls are necessarily going to be good, but if you're playing Meatclaw Souls, I'd want to be playing this guy as well. You may look at a player's hand, select a card, restrict that player from playing it. So the fact that you can just eliminate one card from their hand, which a lot of times will be, dominant or their battle winner, or I guess probably more likely a negate with Ahithophel because he's got such great initiative. Just seems like it's very good. I mean, obviously you have to deal with your opponent's hand protection, but I really like that ability. Maybe it goes in the reserve of that kind of deck, but I don't know, even on turn 1, like that's good. And also, you can make your own Meatclaw Souls with the Lost Soul. So you don't necessarily have to be playing Meatclaw Souls in order for Ahithophel to be good. You can still get some draws off of making your own tokens. Joel, Son of Pethuel, or capturing characters, that also works. If you capture humans, they count as Meatclaw Souls in your Land of Bondage. So Joel is a rare for this one. Enjoy their hands. I like to see that. What is going on in the background of this one? Can't quite tell. Like a little city or something. A little village. I don't know. Leave your name. And another Crimson Depraved. So another duplicate there. Over halfway through. Oh, another Perplexing Vision. Can't say I'm too mad at that. Don't mind having extras of those. I'll still put it with all the rares over here, though. Patrollers of the Earth is a fun one. Relayer of Messages. Was that a duplicate? I think we got... No, I don't think we got one of those. Told to Take. Oh, nice. Yeah, all the Babylonian cards, like the blue, purple, pink kind of gradient there. I'm digging that. Blue is where it's at, and purple is kind of my secondary color. Ooh, Forces Arise. All right, now we're talking. I didn't even open the Roots cards in the last few packs. I'm just getting excited about these alternate border stuff. All right, we'll catch up here. Glad to see a Forces Arise for sure. Another dominant that gets used in quite a few styles of decks. Benefits from Believing. This is really cool. Kind of the hot and cold, blue and red and blue, whatever you want to call it. Here's the other Cherubim, the William Blake one, and a Seized for Servitude. Yeah, more of that blue purple gradient. It's great. Okay, Roots cards. Angelic Guidance, almost a straight reprint, but you top deck unless you attack this turn. Shechem, Son of Hamor. Prevent the next card played by opponent. If blocking, bounce an OT human into territory or take a female. So, yeah, definitely an upgrade from the original version. Still not sure if it really gets played too much in Canaanite defenses, but definitely good for draft, especially if you can just block their random female hero that they drafted, like a Rebecca or Sarah or something, and then you just go ahead and take it right away, put them in special initiative with your evil characters. Always pretty good. Clinging Plague. I'm interested to see if this one sees some play. It's kind of the evil I am holy. On the artifact side, you can discard an evil card from hand. If you do, each opponent must discard a good card from hand. But then also the enhancement side just lets you discard a hero of each brigade. So it can be pretty good against splash decks where you just get to take out a bunch of heroes, but you do have to be careful if you're splashing a bunch of brigades yourself, then you have to take out your own heroes. It's not optional for how many you discard. Spiritual Warfare, negate a card of a different alignment. So this can hit artifacts and neutral cards as well. Yeah, kind of cool to go along with War in Heaven in the Angels and Demons theme and giving them a bunch of negates. Adam the Gardener, you must play an Antediluvian from deck or reserve, maybe Ante Eve. Pretty straightforward, similar to previous versions of Adam that we've seen. The Priest of Zeus, we got a almost straight reprint off of this one, except this one is worded similar to A-Bomb. So it's if an opponent draws because of an ability, not just their ability, then you may discard a card in a territory. So for one, there's a few things to note here. For one, it's no longer cannot be interrupted, which, I mean, that was the part that I think made Priest of Zeus like easily playable in every black deck and really hard to deal with because you couldn't just negate it with your 3 woes or your distressed lost soul. This one you can negate after the fact or prevent beforehand, which, I mean, you could prevent the other one, but still there were just easier ways to get him back online and then you not be able to interrupt him afterwards. But it doesn't have to be their ability, so it's another way for A-Bomb to trigger. So this means that if you get your Priest of Zeus down, you play Forces Arise to activate A-Bomb, and then you both draw 1, you get a trigger off of Priest of Zeus, you get a trigger off of A-Bomb, you get to hit 2 cards in their territory, and you could just do that before they even have a chance to draw into their distressed or their way to negate characters and territories. So that's pretty good. The other thing is that for multiplayer categories, so Paragon, this says an opponent. So if any of your opponents draws a card, you can discard a card in any territory. It doesn't have to be their territory. So that'll be interesting to see if this card just gets splashed into like every Paragon deck, similar to Pitham. But also, like, I mean, it's an evil character, so it's a little risky because if you're not in black, they can just choose him to block, and you've got nothing. So that's a thing to consider. But yeah, very good, especially with like the Boaz Paragon. So that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see if people switch to using this Priest of Zeus so that they can get the A-Bomb triggers and like their own draw stuff with Forces Arise, or if the old one will still hold out until he rotates out. Emperor Galba 07 Emperor. You may play an evil entity fortress from reserve. Each opponent must discard a card from hand. Very similar to the old school version with the discard, and then I think he just searched for Rome specifically. And Sorrow of Mary, you may reveal an opponent's hand, underdeck a good card, just a straight reprint for this one from the starter decks. And I Am Patience, negate and shuffle an opponent's card. You may convert an evil human. If you do, skip your next battle phase. So I'm a little conflicted on this card. Like, basically just Holy Grail, right, for the artifact side. However, I mean, for one, you have to do it right away when you activate it. So Holy Grail, you can do it anytime. This one you have to do right away when you activate it, which is usually going to be before you attack. And so then you're going to have to skip your battle phase on that turn, which is not the worst. I mean, like, maybe you're just activating this when you are on a turn when you can't attack, or maybe that your opponent doesn't have any lost souls, so you're just kind of buying time. It's pretty good, especially if you have like, and you choose the attacker abilities on your defense, or just Prince of the Air to if you're upping your opponent's good brigade count by converting their evil characters. You can also convert your own evil human if you have something that an evil character that you want to convert because you don't have a hero or something like that, or you want a specific ability, which is always kind of fun. I like doing that. But skipping your next battle phase is a big cost, so I don't know for sure if that's going to be worth it. But maybe if you combine it with cards like Scapegoat, and then also just have like the negate and shuffle an opponent's card on the enhancement. Like it seems like the enhancement side might just make it worth it, and then the artifact side will just be more situational, but you have it as an option. So I can see it being used in green decks. The old school I Am Patience, like what's kind of funny about it is that the old school I Am Patience did a similar thing, except it was if your hero is not successful in battle. And so a lot of times what people would do is they'd use like old school Rhoda, like I was talking about before, or like old school Ahamaz. You could attack and then withdraw right away. Your hero would not be successful in battle, so you convert the evil character. That was back when you just like had more time to pass, I guess, as like you had more turns during the game. There was more defense, more soul drought, things like that, where you were just kind of waiting and not necessarily attacking every turn, or at least not trying to make a rescue attempt every turn. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a throwback in that sense because you weren't actually making a rescue attempt or like a legitimate rescue attempt in that case. But I don't know how well it fits with current meta. But for drafting, that's kind of cool. I mean, there's definitely soul drought in draft, so and can be sometimes where there are evil characters that are hard to deal with. So just taking a turn off to deal with that evil character can be pretty good in a draft environment. And now Jail, the Gatekeeper, a 1/2 musician, used to be a 1/1. He says you may draw one and exchange this card with a white musician from hand, deck, or territory. Cannot be prevented. So kind of the tutor hero for musicians. Kind of the victorious being, except CBP on it is pretty cool. Foul Spirit, negate heroes and enhancements. So straight up reprint of the brown version from way back when, from the ENF starter decks, except now in orange. The starter deck one from the I deck just negated heroes. So this one is definitely cool. Kind of a low numbered King of Tyrus. So you get to have kind of a duplicate effect there. Needed some more CBP orange cards though, I guess. Complainers really liking this reprint. To get heroes, you may exchange a hero in battle with a hero in opponent's territory or discard pile. So straight up improvement from the old version, which just let you exchange with their territory. But yeah, I don't know, pretty good with something like I Am Patience, where you're converting their evil humans to off-color brigades, or also good against the Victorious Being and Angel of the Winds if you get them either from their territory or their discard pile, because you're negating heroes, so they won't be able to exchange, and they'll just be left with a little bitty angel that they probably don't have any enhancements for. And also Wilderness gets, I mean, the previous one, or the old version, was Wilderness 2, but now there's one in rotation now that Wilderness is like actually a theme, and also generic. So yeah, that one seems pretty good. I'm excited about that one. You may discard your unique evil human to protect lost souls from rescue. This is a very bad news reprint, very similar to the old version, except the old one just waited for your evil or your unique evil human to be discarded as a result of the battle. This one, it just happens right away, but also you get your toss for 6 or something on there as well, so it's got more numbers. And Ishbibadab's Spear, you may discard this card to underdeck a hero. Pretty standard reprint for a Philistine Spear. And Visions, the kind of Daniel Angelic Guidance version, or part of that cycle, I guess, where you get to look at a hand, then top deck a card, or take it if you've attacked. All right, we're getting there. Ooh, got the rare Lost Soul. That's good to see. I like that. The Forgotten. While 2 or more heroes are in battle, prevent good cards. They're good enhancements. Chaldeans, prevent good cards. That'd make it more interesting for sure. Servants by the River, and another Belshazzar's 1000. Training in Righteousness. I would have liked to see this one be another like give more brigades to a hero kind of an ability. I think that was kind of fun. Just back when you could afford to set aside a hero for 4 turns. Discard an evil card if used by a missionary, repeat up to 1 time. yeah, pretty standard. Faith in our High Priest, you may exchange this card with a single Brigade Clay card from deck or reserve. So that means you could exchange it with a hero or an enhancement. It seems pretty good. The old version was kind of like the Spirit as a Dove, where it like meant that your enhancements, I think, used by New Testament heroes cannot be negated, and it was multi-brigade. So that was kind of fun, but this one is good too, and also just I like the art on that. It looks pretty cool. Pharaoh's Magicians. You may draw 2 or take an OT artifact from deck or reserve. I believe this was the purchased, one of the purchased, like, create a card from Roots 2 things by Charles Loria. He was a big Egyptians fan, and so he wanted to give them a little bit of love here. Draw 2 or take an OT artifact from deck or reserve. I wonder what artifacts he had in mind. Like, what are you thinking of with that? In Eunice, Example of Faith, we take a single brigade good enhancement from deck, maybe add to Lois or Timothy, part of the little trifecta of Eunice, Timothy, and Lois. And Pharaoh Neko, you may discard the top card of a deck. If alone, you may choose an OT hero to attack. I think Egyptians will definitely want this card as well. So that's kind of like what I was talking about before, of the, like, just kind of putting the mill on already good effects. It does have to be an OT hero, so it's a little bit situational, but still good. The Realm of Greece. Each upkeep, you may take a Black Daniel card. You guys know what it does. I'm used to reading these ones out. But yeah, good to see that one. Rulers over Earth, 70 weeks, and Ariok the Bodyguard. No duplicates there. Woohoo. Going to their deaths. Part of the discard all CBP cycle, the gray version. Evil Angel, reveal the bottom card of deck. If it is evil, you may take it, and opponent must discard one of their cards. I like this, especially in draft. I don't know that it's really going to see much play for constructed categories, but Fearless Traveler, you can underdeck up to 3 evil cards from hand to draw an equal number, cannot be interrupted. Decent. I don't know. I think he's got my identifier, the generic involves music. Yeah, I mean, kind of fun with like Gates of Hell and other ways to manipulate the bottom cards of your deck. So, but you're not actually getting any like net positive unless you're doing the Gates of Hell thing. Positive resources, I should say. Negate evil and neutral cards. This is just a very strong negate that just takes care of everything. So I kind of like that. Maybe it goes into some clay decks. And Inspection, the clay angelic guidance part of the cycle. Ooh, Jerry. We got a Jerry. That's good. I mean, as long as he doesn't get errated or banned or something, then definitely be using that version. The Former Forgotten, Self-Made, no strength to stand. All right. No more duplicates. Doing well so far. Wizards, look at a hand or a reserve. Evil OT enhancements used by this card are regardless of protect abilities. Fairly standard little magician there. I don't know if he goes into like a straight magician deck or not, but it depends on how popular protect abilities are, I guess. Ananias of Damascus, prevent the next evil enhancement played in battle. You may take Paul from deck, discard pile, or reserve. So if you're just in a like straight up Paul deck, get Ananias in there. We got Lois, protect anti-clay heroes from strength 3 or with strength 3 or less from evil cards. We had Eunice or Timothy. So yeah, works well with those. Ehud, the Benjaminite. If blocked by an OT character, you may equip a gold weapon from deck. You may choose an evil king to block. It would be kind of cool if I think somebody brought this up when this was spoiled. But if like if blocked was the equip was a trigger off of. Oh wait, no, it is. Yeah. Never mind. What was I thinking? Maybe it was like if it equipped either way. But anyway, I think this is cool. You choose them, their evil king to block, and then as soon as they're blocked, you get to equip an OT gold weapon from deck. So you get to kind of respond to whatever they do with whatever OT weapon you want, which could just be like Builder's Sword. You just get to play it, bounce your character right away. Their evil character. Gentle Resolution, reserve an evil card. Opponent must discard a card from hand. If used by a Patriarch, repeat it to 1 time. I like this a lot. I think the fact that you don't have to reserve their evil card in battle first, put them in, like, you don't have to put them in special initiative right away before they discard from hand is nice. As you've played on a Patriarch, you can hit something in their territory, make them discard a card from hand, and then hit their character in battle. Hey, there's our other non-ultra rare dominant in the set here. Bound in Battle, like seeing that. Rescued from Lions. The Angel of His Presence. I don't think we've gotten that one yet. And Axe. Nice. Hey, the Sixth Trumpet. I believe this was another one of the Create a Card fundraiser items from James Courtney. If used by Revelation Hero, interrupt the battle, discard an evil card, or hero may ban to an Angel Warrior. So very flexible, very good on 7 Trumpet Sounders. You get to do the discard and then the band, or you get to do both. It's kind of cool. Guardian Angel, you may draw 1, protect heroes from evil cards. Kind of like a Malak the Nameless sort of effect there on a Gospel Angel, which is kind of cool. Angelic Visitor, you may take a good Axe card from deck. If opponent defeats this card, you may add a New Testament human to battle. And Creeping Deceiver, protect up to 3 NT Lost Souls from Rescue, may ban to a Heretic or NT Female. Kind of works like the old one, except you can't ban a Sapphira and then have them still work. And then David's Triumph. Negate and discard an evil character if used by a warrior, repeat up to 1 time. Okay, just had to clear my throat there a little bit. Now we're back. Negate and discard an evil character, repeat up to 1 time. That's pretty good on the new Uriah, so that's kind of cool. And there's another A-Bomb. I don't mind having a duplicate of that one. As far as the duplicate rares go, if it was Babylon or something, and maybe be a little more disappointed, but A-Bomb, I will take that for sure. Given from God, and there's our Artist Unknown Cherubim, and Judah Handed Over, another one of those. Antiochus the Fourth, Epiphanes. Would have preferred Cassander, but I still like Antiochus. A little CBN discard. Seems good. Perez, I think this was a duplicate. I don't remember. Leaders for the Lord, I know that one's a new one. And Antigonus, the One-Eyed. Don't have one of those yet. Oh, I forgot my Roots cards. Large Tree. Negate a card, you may take an Evil Fortress or a Babylonian from deck. If used by a king, repeat up to 1 time. I like that you get to negate up to 2 things and then take. I mean, it's not going to be great for constructed, I don't think, or like used a whole lot, but maybe. Emperor Claudius of blocking, protect this card from anti-heroes and opponent's dominance can't be prevented. Basically a straight reprint of the old one, the Persecuted Church one, but it does say if blocking, so they changed it so that if you convert him, then he's not protected from himself, which doesn't really matter, I don't think in most cases, but I don't know, just kind of makes him a little more thematically reasonable. Captain Nebuzaradan, I think is how at least my Bible app pronounces it. You may draw 1, may ban to a Babylonian warrior, or you may discard a captured character. Nothing too special about that guy. The band is good. I feel like there's not a whole lot of banding with the Babylonians that's like as generic. Like there's Belshazzar's 1000 who bans to a generic Babylonian, but then you're like, well, there aren't that many that are like amazing. Babylonian forces or Babylonian siege army is maybe kind of the best one. The other rest are like magicians, and I don't know. Mounted forces is good, I guess, too. Anyway, Great Faith, the gold one of the look at a hand in top deck cycle. Probably one of the best ones because it's in the same brigade as Jeshua. So you can play it on Jeshua and then just take your card. Capture all evil characters, or capturing Canaan, capture all evil characters in battle if used by a judge, capture all evil characters in opponent's territory. This one seems pretty good. I like the facelift on that one. Being able to grab all their evil characters in play, basically. Elijah's Mantle, you may exchange a card from hand with a single brigade OG green hero from deck, reserve, or discard pile. I don't know that green necessarily needed more consistency cards, but here we go. It's on an artifact, so it is a little bit trickier to justify. Potter's Field, if put in play, you may resurrect a human hero, and like it can't be activated on Elijah or something, which that would have been kind of cool. But if put in play, you may resurrect a human hero. Each upkeep, you may resurrect a human hero. So if you're a deck that you need a particular hero, or you don't mind throwing your heroes away for other benefits, which sounds like we might get with some of the martyr theme that they were talking about on the podcast, or the 100th episode. Could be kind of cool. There can be some fun synergy there, and it is a Gospel Fortress. Roman Whip. Select up to 1. Opponent must discard a card from hand. Discard this card to discard a card from opponent's hand. So I like the flexibility on this one. The fact that you can equip it with the one Roman guy right away is kind of nice. And another Captain Nebuzaradan. Nebuzaradan? I don't know. I haven't decided how I want to pronounce this guy yet. Is that the first Roots duplicate that we've gotten? It could be. I mean, they're not going to be as common as the set, because there's more cards in Roots 2 than there are in times to come. But still, yeah, that's pretty nice. And the God of this World, pretty much a straight reprint on this one. Protect humans from convertibilities. If an opponent draws because of their ability, they draw one less instead. I think it does pretty much the same thing. It does protect your heroes too, though. That's interesting. That's different. Yeah, protect humans. So it also works to protect your heroes from your opponents falling away. Huh. Abednego. Probably the least desired Daniel hero in the set. Sorry, Abednego. You're decent in draft, but Persian Prefects. If Persian King is in play, you may draw 1. Maybe enter generic Persian. Why am I reading these out again? Gotta stop. Eternal Believers. It's a duplicate. And Ashmanaz, the 2024 teams winner, designed by Sean Sievers and Brandon Wade, who unfortunately didn't make it to Nationals this year. It's kind of a bummer. I think they were planning to, but something came up. Got another Shechem, another Spivnot Spear, and talking about getting duplicate Roots cards. Here they come. A Mesa, Son of Ithra. If you control a Miklos soul, you may take an evil OT human warrior to territory. You may ban to a brown human. Kind of a nice little benefit to your banding chain here. And brown human is very generic for band ability, so that can be wilderness, Persians. I don't know. Seems pretty good, especially in draft when you got Miklos souls. Bearing bad news, a fortify site, man. All right, almost all duplicates in that one. 2 more packs left. Hey, the Papa. Hazareris the Father. Glad to see one of him. He's also got a pretty cool gradient in the background there. I like that. There's Satraps, definitely a good one to have. The Exchanger character for Persians. Servants of the King. Right, I like that one. That's the Sky version, which is the better, more useful one. And Ptolemy, ruler of Egypt. Hey, glad to see no duplicates in their second to last pack. That's nice. Baggage, capture up to 2 evil characters to a player. If used by major profit, repeat it to 1 time. Good little capture battle winner. Ezekiel card, which is cool. Play on the old school Ezekiel, make it CBN. We got a net. While your human is blocking, you may discard this card to play an evil enhancement from opponent's hand or reserve, regardless of brigade. Kind of a fun one. Nothing too special about it, but for draft, it's going to be pretty fun. Just grab your opponent's evil enhancement. And the Pig's Lost Soul. This one's going to be around a lot. I'm definitely expecting to see this one see a lot of play. Negate NT humans in battle, so it's kind of the accuser's equivalent for NT humans, and that would have been nice last season. I would have liked that. Demon behind the idol, you may draw 2 or activate an idol. If an idol is active, you may take an orange card from reserve. So basically, you can draw 2, or you can activate an idol and take an orange card from reserve, because if you activate an idol, then there's going to be 1 active. Well, not necessarily, I guess. You could activate A-bomb, reserve it to discard their hero, and then by the time the second ability triggers, there won't be an idol active unless you have 1 active somewhere else. But just straight up activate an idol. Pretty good when you have idols like A-bomb in the card pool. Twice Afflicted, play an orange enhancement from reserve or discard pile, so straight upgrade for that one. Get to go to discard pile still, but you could also just go right to reserve. And hey, we begun and ended the box with Perfidy. which is funny. I like Perfidy, so we'll maybe use 2 of those in a Type 2 deck. We'll see. Greek Forces, Behold the Lord, that's a reprint, or a duplicate, and Babylonian Wise Men, I think that's the first one there. And Aaron the Voice, may discard an evil card from a reserve, maybe into Wilderness Hero, cannot be interrupted. So he kind of works with like the male theme of Wilderness, sort of, maybe a little bit, but it's just going from their reserve, which is nice, but not crazy good. But CBI banned to a Wilderness Hero is decent. Maybe you get splashed on like a Joshua deck too, and play your first sacrifice or something on him. Angel of Deliverance, paralyze evil characters with strength 6 or less this turn. You may release any number of captured heroes. You don't get to ban them into battle though, so it doesn't work with captive priests. What the heck, no, I mean the paralyze there seems pretty decent. I wonder if there's a deck where you can play like Widow to paralyze the big characters and Angel of Deliverance to paralyze the little ones. Put them in the try to get them in the same battle somehow. I don't know. Probably not really anything too special there, but 7 Years of Famine, place in territory for 7 turns to get draw and take abilities in each player's upkeep. They may discard a card from hand or territory. This one is it's interesting. It's I think the first of the 2 cards that we've seen in this set that negate take abilities. So generally that like would just negate search abilities is kind of like the wording that would be used, but negating take abilities actually does it a little bit differently, where it's the cards that you're searching for to put into your hand, or cards that you like reveal a certain number, look at a certain number and take, or just like a Mesa, or you take an opponent's OT Human Warrior, that would be negated as well. So it negates, I think, a broader number of abilities, but it doesn't negate stuff like exchange with a hero in your deck, which negate search abilities would stop that. So it's interesting, just kind of using more modern wording. Uriah the Hittite, take a purple weapon from deck or reserve, and then while alone discard abilities cannot be negated. I think he's going to be used a decent amount in the purple warrior decks. Seems pretty good, especially if you're not focused as much on the banding aspect. So you've got like Benaiah for negate everything. You've got Uriah for initiative and discard everything. Messenger of Satan, draw X from bottom of deck, may ban to an evil human, cannot be prevented. Really glad to see a reprint of Messenger. Those were getting a little bit more difficult to get, and they're about to rotate out next year with Early Church going out. So that is all that I've got. Thank you all for sticking around for a longer box opening video here, but we're going through all these Roots 2 cards, which I'm really excited to try out, and then also getting these fancy new Times to Come alternate border cards in my collection here as well is really fun. I'm excited to use these. I think they look awesome, and I'm really glad that they decided to do this for the set instead of trying to rush out the new set in a way that wasn't going to be healthy for the game, or like if it wasn't ready. I'm glad that we're taking our time with that, and then that we also got something very cool out of that as well. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have your own alternate border Times to Come boxes that you want to open up, you should take a video of it, and you can post it yourself, or you can send it to me. I'd be happy to upload it to my channel as well. So that would be that'd be really fun. I like having box opening videos, but I just don't do them super often. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you all next time.